What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dirty Bird Fly Through. Before we get started, very quickly, remember to like, remember to subscribe, remember to share out. And here we are again, another week, another preview. This time, the Falcons' second matchup against the Carolina Panthers this season. This time, any more time, let's get right into it. And taking a look at the injury report for both teams. Starting off with the Panthers, their most notable name on the injury report is Rico Dowdle with a quad injury. He did not practice Wednesday, but did return on Thursday in a limited capacity. Derek Brown was also on the injury report with, I believe, a knee injury, but he did practice fully Thursday, so I expect him to play for the Falcons. A lot of names on this injury report. The most notable one is Drake London. Missed out on Wednesday with an illness. Came back Thursday limited with a illness and also a back injury. And I'm going to be honest, we're learning that you really can't even fully believe everything about the Falcons with injuries, but this injury report is loaded. Chris Lindstrom has not practiced, and I do think that is a concern for Sunday. He did play versus the Colts, so I think if he practices Friday, he definitely stands a chance. Matthew Bergeron, he did not practice. He did not play versus the Colts last Sunday, and you have a bunch of other names. You have Brandon Dorless, Zach Harrison still with his knee injury. So you have a lot of names for the Falcons, as you have had to this point this season. Now, the last time these two teams played was week 3, and we all know what happened. The Panthers dominated the Falcons 30-0. Michael Penix threw 2 interceptions. The Falcons, it could not have been a more useless, worse day for the Falcons. It was absolutely embarrassing. It was really the first signs of the real issues this team could have this year. And, since then, a lot of the issues we have seen in that game, they've been put to rest at times, but it still feels like they're present. It doesn't feel like the Falcons have learned in many ways from their mistakes, but you do get another redo against the Panthers, and that is what matters, and you have to make it count. You cannot get swept by the Panthers. It would be the first time since 2013 that Carolina would have swept you, and they're absolutely looking to do it. So, listen, this is a game that I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. The Falcons are not going to win this game and then be back in any playoff conversation. But this is a game you have to win, really, just to keep things on life support, essentially. Now, talking about how the Falcons can win this game, and there's going to be a very, I think, big story of this game, and it's going to be the running game. And for the Falcons defense, it's going to be absolutely important to stop Carolina's rushing attack. Rico Dowdle has been one of the best running backs all year in the NFL, and he's having a career year, and he has won the Panthers at least 3 games, really all by himself already to this point. So it's going to be absolutely important for a Falcons defense that, this rushing defense, how they attack the rush has definitely been the weak spot. We just saw a week ago Jonathan Taylor absolutely go off for a career day. We've seen Christian McCaffrey go off. That's why it's going to be very important. You have to dial up, blitzes or whatever, but it's going to be very important to get to rattling that running game early on Sunday. It's going to be absolutely important and critical. And speaking of running game, the Falcons have a running game of their own that they are going to have to get going on Sunday. Bijan Robinson, ever since that Bills game, has not been the factor he should be, especially on the ground. Tyler Algier has been going at points this season. We have seen him more involved, but Bijan is the bread and butter. He is really what can take things to a different level. And you're going to have to, and if you want to win this game, you saw last time, it really felt like the Falcons, they were not able to get the running game going the last time against the Panthers. And that is really where, especially when you put the pressure on Michael Penix and really did not give him something to fall back on, that is why the running game being a lifeline, even though you should be able to win in many ways, at the end of the day, this is the Falcons' foundation. This is where they are most comfortable. We are a running football team. We have two very solid running backs. One of them is one of the best in the NFL. So, listen, if the Falcons are going to win this game Sunday, they are going to have to run the football. There is no ifs, ands, buts about it. Bijan Robinson is going to have 100 yards on Sunday. Tyler Algier is going to have to get the ball. You're going to have to get these guys on the ball, because the big issue we have seen, it feels like, is the Falcons have either tried to come out passing, or they have tried to get the run game going, but they bail from it early just because one or two runs doesn't break loose. That's not how it's always going to be. You saw with the Colts, they were not getting, those big carries early that they were getting late in the game last week, but they stuck with their running game, and we saw Jonathan Taylor break loose late when it mattered most. That is how you have to do it. You have to keep building for both of these guys. Now, obviously, a very big story around the Falcons, controversy, whatever you want to call it, has been Raheem Morris. And the decisions that he has made that has led us to this point of being 3 games under 500, being 3-6 through 10 weeks. And a lot of us, including myself, want Raheem Morris gone, but you also have to realize that this game right here on Sunday, if Raheem Morris wants to even stand a chance of potentially being able to talk his way into saving his job for another year, this is a game Sunday he's just going to have to win. He has to win this game Sunday against the Panthers to even stand a chance of potentially keeping his job. Because at the end of the day, when you look at prior history, Arthur Blank has made that move to move off of head coaches. He did it with Mike Smith and Dan Quinn after losses to the Panthers at home. He fired Arthur Smith after a loss in New Orleans to finish the year, and it was also a loss against the Panthers a few weeks before that probably weighed heavily on that decision. So, listen, these games coming up are games Raheem had. It does not even matter at this point. If he wants to even have a chance, he has to literally win these games. It's a non-negotiable. And I would not be shocked if we are sitting here on Monday and the Falcons get blown out again by the Panthers. If we finally get the news that Raheem Morris has been fired, I truly think we are getting to that point where a few more embarrassing losses, I could see the move actually being made in season. Now, it's going to be very important how this team comes out Sunday. And it's going to be a very big pulse check on just how balled in this locker room still is to the vision of Raheem Morris and the rest of this coaching staff. This is a game that shows you the strength of your locker room, the health of your locker room. Are they united, or are they at the point where they see through your BS? And that is ultimately what is going. This game is going to come down to. Also, it's going to come down to how united are the Falcons. There have been things that have came out this week about now. Once again, we did not know Darnell Mooney broke his collarbone. That was not communicated with fans. We don't know if that was communicated with the team or not. Michael Penix has said he really has no one that he can lean on to really go over things. And, a lot of that shows signs of dysfunction. And we are going to see, I think Sunday's a very big test to just see how strong this foundation of the Falcons locker room is. Does Raheem Morris still have the Falcons locker room? We're going to get that answer on Sunday. Now, taking a look around the NFC South, I think it's appropriate because we are playing a divisional opponent. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still leading this division. They are 6-3. They have a very tough matchup against the Bills. The Saints, coming off that win versus the Panthers, they are 2-8. They are on a bye week, and we face the Saints next week. So next week is Saints week, and obviously the Carolina Panthers at 5-5 facing us this week. So getting into the player to watch for both teams, and for the Falcons, I'm going to choose Jalen Walker. I feel like Jalen Walker has been ascending the past couple weeks. We've seen him more involved. We've seen him making plays more often. And look, it's going to be very important for Jalen Walker to be out there and making plays on Sunday. We're going to need him to show up. We've been seeing him in the duo of James Pierce really ascending. We're going to need that on Sunday because, listen, at the end of the day, Jalen Walker, he can be effective in the run game. He can also rush the passer. You're going to need that versatility on Sunday to stop Carolina's rushing attack early of Rico Dowdle. And that's going to lead me into the Panthers player to watch. It's Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard has really had, I would say, a disappointing season so far. He really hasn't been that involved. His best game all year, however, did come against the Falcons in week 3. That's the most carries he had all season. He had over 4 yards per carry. So I think especially with Rico Dowdle, you're starting to get to that point where running backs can get worn out, especially someone like Rico Dowdle, who is definitely getting the most usage of his career, and also he does have a quad injury. So I would anticipate we're going to see Carolina give Chuba Hubbard some carries. So you have to have both of them accounted for, and you have to make it a key to come out and stop Carolina's rushing attack. This is going to be a game that is won on the ground, and whatever team runs the football better is going to win. The Falcons have had a lot of games like that this season that they have lost. So you have to stop the running game. That has been a weak spot of the defense, but it's a divisional game. You got to step up. You have to come to play in this one. Now, going into the keys to victory, and I'm going to do the keys to victory a little differently moving forward. We're going to go to the chalkboard for the keys to victory. And the first key to victory, and I've pretty much alluded to it at this point, is you have to shut down Carolina's run game. You have to stop Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. Carolina is at their best when they are running the football. That is their clear-cut identity. The Panthers, when they have been able to run the football and play that tough physical brand, they can hang with any team in the league. But if they're not able to run the football, then they're in trouble. And things could get pretty ugly. Bryce Young is not at that point this year like he was late last year to where you can go and ask him to win games. Which is why I say, as weird as it sounds, considering Bryce Young has had most success against the Falcons more than any other team, I want to see that game in the hands of Bryce Young for Carolina. You got to shut down this run game. You have to force Bryce Young to beat you with his arm, because I just don't know at this point if he can. A lot of people are worried because of how the season ended last year with the Panthers coming in. Listen, we have a much better pass defense. We have a much better defense in general. I don't anticipate that happening again. The big key is going to be shutting down the Panthers' running game. And you got to do that early, so that's going to lead me into my second key to victory, which is you have to win early downs. You got to win first and second down in this game. This is a game where, as far as the defense goes, you got to shut down Carolina early. You can't let up big chunks on first and second down, because that is how they're going to be able to sustain drives and kill you and get you in those third and shorts, and they're going to be in a better position to succeed with their running game. You got to stuff them on first and second down, and on those critical third downs, force Bryce Young to beat you. It's what you have to do. The Panthers have some young receivers, Ted McMillan, Xavier Legette, but at the end of the day, they are still growing. You do have pieces in the secondary, and you need to force Bryce Young to beat you. And then as far as the offensive side of the ball goes, look, this team is absolutely terrible on third down. We know that. And it puts you in a tougher position, but you have to win out the early downs. You got to keep the ball moving on first and second down. And the best way to do that is obviously a mix of Drake London, of course. But it's going to all go through the running game in this one. I'm telling you right now, it's going to all go on the ground. That is the path to victory for both teams. Which the third key to victory, run the football, is pretty self-explanatory. Bijan Robinson should get 20 plus carries in this game. Tyler Algier should get 10 plus carries in this game. You got to run the football to win this game. Whatever team outruns the other is going to be who wins. And the Falcons have been in, once again, spots like that, they have lost. You got to flip the script at this point. You have to if you want to come out on top. Now, everything considered, this is a very important game for the Falcons. It's a very important game for Raheem Morris. It's a very important game for a lot of guys on this team. You can't get swept by the Panthers. If you get swept by the Panthers, Arthur Blank is going to be looking at things a whole lot more critically than he does against most other teams. Arthur Blank cares about these divisional games. These are the games he truly does care about. With that being said, I just feel like at this point, you've lost 4 straight games. It's been absolutely miserable. You're coming back home. The Panthers are an up and down team. It's a game that could go either way. You got to take Carolina seriously. With that being said, I do expect the Falcons to get a win on Sunday. I think that we are going to see Bijan Robinson have a big day. I think we are going to see other aspects of the Falcons really come out to play. I think we're going to see a solid day overall from the defense. And listen, it's, I don't really know what to expect. I don't know what to expect, period, from the Falcons week to week. I feel like for Michael Penix, you have to put him in good situations. You are not doing that to this point, but the only way I can really think that you put him in a good situation and with these coaches is you run the football, because then that can open up the play action. But this is really a game you got to keep it on the ground. You got to keep it simple. Bijan, Algier, that needs to be the story of this game. The Falcons outrunning the Panthers. I think it's a low-scoring game.